Hi everyone, it's Lori. Thanks for joining me for another Cricut tutorial. Today I'm excited to share with you how to make this fun Christmas card with the deer on the front. I made this card about a year or two ago, and actually I made this one using my Cricut, but I only used the Cricut for the stag and the star. I did the rest with either a stamp and a pre-bought doily. So I thought I would challenge myself this year and try to recreate this card in Design Space. And I actually like the way this one turned out a little bit better. I think this turned out really, really cute. And I'm going to walk you through how to make this using all Cricut products. So let's skip over to Design Space and I'll get started. The first thing we need to do is go to Insert Images. And there's a few things that we need here in Design Space. We need a deer. So I'm just going to type in deer in the search bar. And I used this one right here. It's part of the Access, and it's Teresa Collins Holiday cartridge. I use that guy, so we're going to click on him. We need a Merry Christmas sentiment, so I'm just going to type in Merry Christmas. And the one I used was by Anna Griffin, and it's this one. You can use any of these that you want that writes, but I use this one. This is from Anna's Lovely Layered Cards called Merry Christmas. I'm going to put a check on that one by clicking on it. I used a doily, so I'm going to type in doily. And you have a ton of doilies to pick from. And I went over here to filter, and I want to see ones that are part of Access. I didn't want to have to buy a doily since there's so many readily available. And the one I used was in Creative Cards, and let's see if I can remember it. I wanted one that had a somewhat solid center, just because you're not going to see it, and I didn't want to waste the time cutting it out. So I think it's this one. Yes, it's doily. It's item number M as in Michael 3, C as in cat 896. If you want the same one I want. But again, you can use any doily you want. There's a lot of really, really pretty ones. So we need that, and we need a snowflake. Type in snowflake. And I was looking for a chunkier one, and I use this one right here. Again, it's part of Access, and it is snowflake from the Winter Lace cartridge, M38. CE4 is the item number. So we're going to grab that. And we're going to go to the mat and hit Insert Images. And I don't know why this Anna Griffin one comes in really big. So let's take care of that right now. I'm going to go over and I'm going to change the width while that is selected. And I'm going to change it to 5 inches. All right, there it is. At least now we can work with it. The other two things we need are right here in the Insert Shapes menu. We are going to grab a square and a star. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to grab this square. We're going to go over to the Edit panel. We're going to unlock Keep Proportions, and we're going to change this square to 4.25 by 5.5. Now we're going to click on the Layers panel, click on the square, and I'm just going to change that to, let's just go light brown. That's my craft colored card base that I used. The next item we're going to work with is the doily. So let's grab the doily. Look over in the layers panel. It's right here. It's a single layer. It's good to go. That's going to be cut out in Cricut Gold Poster Board. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm just going to change that to gold, or this, I guess, kind of a marigold color, just to remind me to put the Cricut Gold Poster Board on my mat. Now I'm going to click back on this card base. I'm going to hit Arrange and Move to Back. That way I can put this doily over the top and see what I'm doing. Now I want to increase the size of this doily, and that looks about right. This is just an eyeball game. You can do whatever you want. But if you want yours to be exactly like mine, let's click on it and go to the Edit panel. And it's basically 3 inches, 2.93. Let's just make it an even 3. Okay. So our doily is 3 inches wide by 3.04 high, and that's perfect. Now we have our star, and I want to place that over the doily, and I want the tips of it to go slightly over the doily. So I want it a little bit bigger, but not much. I just want to be able to add some dimension. And that looks about right. And if we look over in the layers panel, that star, and if we look over in the layers panel, that star is 3.17 by 3.01. So again, these are just ballpark numbers. All right, next the stag is going to go on top, and I see he's behind the star. So let's click on him, click arrange, and move to front for now. That'll work. All right, now I notice this stag has a gray layer behind him. So let's look at the layers panel and see what's going on. He has a shadow layer. We don't need that shadow layer. So in order to get rid of that, we're going to right click, ungroup. I'm going to move this guy off of here, and I'm going to delete that gray layer. You can click on it and hit delete. You can click on the red X, or you could hit delete over here in your layers panel. All right, now I want him to fit on top of this, and actually he's sized just about perfectly for what I want. And I've got him at 1.62 by 2.28. Again, whatever looks good to you. Now we have the snowflake. Let's look in the layers panel. What's going on here? Again, we have a shadow layer. We don't need the shadow layer. I just want the intricate top layer. So we're going to right click, ungroup, and move that snowflake off and delete the shadow. Gone. Okay, and now I need 3 snowflakes. So you can do a couple different things. You could hit copy, paste 3 times. You can click on it and just go down here in the lower right corner in the layers panel and hit duplicate twice. And now we have 3 of them. And you can resize these however looks good to you. So I'm going to put 1 there, 1 here, and one up there. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Make that one a little bit smaller. I don't like them all to be exactly the same. If you want them all the same, resize it before you duplicate them. Now, one other thing I want to do is I want those snowflakes to cut out in the same silver glitter cardstock as my star. So I am going to go over here to the sync panel and see where the star is gray and the snowflakes are blue. I want to move all those up to blue. So that blue is going to represent my silver cardstock. You can put whatever color you want, and on my one that I did last year, you'll see I had a blue stag and a silver star, so you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to cut my stars out in silver. And you know, if it makes it easier, just click on one of these, go to the layers panel, and change that to gray. Now let's go over to the sync panel and we can move all these up to gray. So there, that's closer representation of what I'm going to do. And I'm going to cut my stag out in red glitter paper. So I'm going to go over to the layers panel, click on him and change him to red. And just click up here in the red. Perfect. Now we have this sentiment. I want to size this down a little bit so that it fits inside my card, and that looks good to me. And we look over in the edit panel and it's 3.64 wide. You can make this again as big or as small as you want. Maybe we'll go a little bit bigger. 3.76. Okay, so let's move this aside. Let's take this, and we know we want it down here. I want to make sure that's centered on my card. So I'm going to select both, and I'm going to hit Align, Center Horizontally. And now that's perfectly centered on what's going to be the front of my card. So while it is still selected with the card base, and if we look over in the layers panel, we see this layer is highlighted in blue and this one. So we know they're both still selected. If you're not sure, draw a box around and reselect them. Inside the image, right click and click Attach. Now what that's going to do is keep that writing on top of that card base. So when you hit go, Design Space knows that you want it to write on top of this piece and then cut the outside piece. So that's what's going to happen with that. You can move that back over, right click and move backward. Well, just hit Arrange, move to back because we want it to go all the way back. And that's it. That's all there is to this card. So, okay, so let's hit go and see where we're at. Okay, the first thing that comes up is our silver cardstock, silver glitter cardstock mat. I'm going to move it over here to this corner. It doesn't get used a lot, and these snowflakes are really intricate, so I like to put them on an area of the mat that's not used a lot so that it will stick real well. I'm going to cut these out of Cricut glitter cardstock. If you haven't tried the Cricut glitter cardstock, you should. I love it. It cuts excellent on the Cricut Explore, and there is a setting for, if you scroll down to glitter, the G's under custom, you'll see glitter cardstock Cricut. Make sure you choose that. Also, I'll have all the products linked below the video. Next up, we have our stag, who's also going to be cut in Cricut glitter cardstock, and we're going to cut him in red. I'm going to move him down to that corner. Here is our cardstock base front. I'm going to cut that out of craft paper. You could also cut this out of white cardstock and do a white background, as you can see on the ones that I did last year. And this pretty doily I'm going to cut out of Cricut gold poster board, and it is a really, really nice poster board. One little tip I will give you: if you're going to cut something intricate out of the Cricut poster board, put your smart dial on poster board plus, which is one notch past poster board. It's the notch between poster board and custom. What that will do is make it cut twice, and that way you're not having to pick out all these little pieces from it. If you're cutting something basic, just the regular poster board setting's perfect. But since this is intricate, I recommend putting it on the poster board plus setting. So cut out your pieces, meet me in my craft room, and we'll put this together. Okay, assembly's super simple. The first thing I did was take this piece, which we printed on, and ran it through my Cuttlebug in an embossing folder, just like this, and I left that end out, and that's how I got that smooth edge on the end. This is optional. You obviously don't have to do that. This is a Sizzix embossing folder. I have tons of Cuttlebug brand embossing folders, but that's the one I chose. It has some holly on it. So I did that. I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and cut it in half lengthwise, folded it in half. This is going to be my card base. I think we'll start with this. First thing we're going to do is put our doily down. I cut this out of the Cricut poster board, and I recommend you put it on the poster board plus setting. Just because it's so intricate, it will cut it out twice, and it'll save you from having to do much weeding. I'm going to pop that up with some foam tape. Super simple. And I'm just going to place that right here in the center-ish of the card. Popped up just a little bit. Next I'm going to put the star. I'm going to do the same thing. A little piece of foam tape in the middle. And put my star. You can center it, or I like it a little bit so it doesn't look perfect or too symmetrical. Alright, now we're going to pop this guy on here, and again I'm just going to use a piece of foam tape. This card goes together really, really easy and quick. And I'm just going to put him right there in the middle. Super easy. Often I get asked, what are these Cricut tweezers for? Well, these little tiny snowflakes are a perfect example of what these tweezers are for. Sometimes when you're handling little things like this, it's hard to A, get adhesive on them, or B, get your fingers out of the way so you can see what you're doing. But I'm just going to pop those on right here. And those are reverse tweezers, so you squeeze and grab it, and then you can let it go. Put your adhesive on. Put another snowflake down, squeeze to release. And where do we want our third snowflake? See, you can kind of, this way you can get your hands out of the way. I think I'm going to put it I think I like it right there. Sometimes you just gotta play. Play as you go. And that's gonna go right there. All right. You could stop right there if you wanted. I'm gonna step it up one more notch and take a piece of twine. And I'm just going to wrap it around a couple times. Cut it off. We're going to tie it. And again, I don't really want it tied right in the center. I'm going to do it off to the side a little bit, and I'm just going to tie it in a bow. Super simple. Cut those tails off. Maybe I want it a little bit smaller. That looks good. And then I'm just going to, and somebody's going to ask, I'm using the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium glue. You could use any kind of glue you like. I like this because it dries really fast and it's super strong. I also like the Tacky Glue by Scotch. Tombow Mono is great glue, whatever you like. So we're just going to take, oops, lost a snowflake. It's not got enough glue on him. Back down there. Alright, now we're just going to glue this using some tape runner to the front of our card base. And voila! Merry Christmas! Beautiful card. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, all kinds of social media if you like. And I hope to see you there. Bye!